All right, welcome everyone to the 2023 MAW Opening Day tournament draw. I'm Paul Cook. We'll get to the draw in just a few minutes here, but before we do, I just want to say a few things, sort of set the stage for both the draw and for the tournament itself. So, it's a 24-team tournament. It's our largest ever regular season tournament at MAW. So first, we just want to thank everyone, all the teams traveling from all different places. One team from California, one team from all over the West Coast, a team from Texas, a team from Indianapolis, teams coming from all around up and down the East Coast. We really appreciate all the support. All those teams, everyone participating shows not only MAW but wiffle ball in general. We got a ton of different leagues represented. I would say probably easily more than a dozen. Teams that have been participating in this tournament that also play in another league other than MAW. So that's really cool, and we just thank you for continuing to support the game and support leagues like MAW. So since this is a 24-team tournament, we will be using both the Shy Wiffle Ball Park location, the 3 fields there, and then 6 satellite fields over at Dallastown Community Park. So we are building a couple more fields down at Dallastown. So we'll have 3 fields per group of 8 teams. So you'll basically, for the prelim rounds, you'll basically be playing more or less nonstop, just a little break here or there. And it will also be using those Dallastown fields for early playoff games and for early consolation round games, which is a little bit different than the norm, where we usually try to get everyone over to Shy Park after the prelim games, but just with this amount of teams, we're going to have to play some there. So we'll do that, and then everything will wrap up at Shy Wiffle Ball Park like usual later in the day. We encourage everyone to come over later in the day to watch those final sets of games. But if you are at Dallastown, we're asking that, and you're coming over later in the day to watch games, or even actually even if even if you're still in the tournament and your games have moved over to Shy, we ask that you carpool to get over there. So just maybe like 1 car per team type of rule, because we do have limited parking space over at those fields. So we really need everyone to kind of carpool there. Your car will be safe and fine at Dallastown until you get back to it. So take a look at the teams just real quick before we get to the draw. So again, 24 teams. See all of them listed there. These rosters probably aren't completely up to date, but they're getting there with some late additions. So how we'll do the draw is so there's the teams, and I just want to go over the format real quick. I knew I was forgetting something. So the format is the same as we've done for 16-team tournaments the last couple of years in MAW, and then the same way as United Wiffle first rounds have been all 3 years, where the preliminary round is going to be this modified compass draw. So basically you're matched up against a team with the same record throughout. Like every MAW tournament, the 3-0 and 2-1 teams advance to the championship round. So in each of the 3 8-team brackets, there'll be 1 3-0 team, so 3 total, and then there'll be 3 2-1 teams from each bracket, so 9 total. So it'll be a 12-team single elimination championship bracket. The 3 3-0 teams will receive a bye to the quarterfinals. The top 2-1 team will also receive a bye. Again, like United Wiffle, the way we're going to do this is if the 3 teams that start 2-0, the team with the team that wins the tiebreakers between those 3 teams, and the top tiebreaker being runs allowed, like it always is, they'll get that 4th bye to the quarterfinals, and then the other 8 2-1 teams will play in the first round. A little bit different from normal MAW tournaments, since we'll have all the fields and we'll have the space, and we know people are traveling a long distance. We will be doing a consolation bracket with the 1 and 2 teams. So it'll be 9 1 and 2 teams, 8 and 9 will play a play, and then let's do a single elimination consolation bracket. There will be a cash prize for that, maybe other prizes, so it will be worth your time. And also, it will feed into the point considerations. The winner of that will get 13th place for this tournament, which may not seem on the surface as something you may care about, but with 24 teams, that 13th place point winner is going to get a lot of points. So if you're an MAW regular season team, you're going to want to win, and you find yourself in that 1 and 2 consolation bracket, it's going to benefit you to win that when it comes to postseason points. All right, so enough talking. We can get to the Draw now. Just want to point out really quickly before we do, we're just going to go straight down, as you kind of see here on the screen. Where's the first 8 teams? There's going to be this Group A, 1 through 8, then 9 through 16, same deal, and then 17 through 24, same deal. So 1 and 2 will play each other their first game. 3 and 4 will play each other, and on down. And then, the winner of 1 and 2 will play the winner of 3 and 4, and vice versa for the losers, and same on the bottom. Then you kind of cross, for the 1-on-1 teams, you'll kind of cross over them for that final game. Again, just same as same as we've been doing in MAW. All right, so I bring up the wheel now. We got all 24 teams on the wheel. Again, we'll just go straight down. And whenever you're ready, Tim, you can spin. Team 1 is the New School Risers, entering their 6th year in MAW, sixth year. And they will be playing the East Bangor Wiffle Ball Vortex in their first tournament, first/second tournament. All right. Dragons will be team number 3. A little bit of a revamped look this year for the Dragons, who won last year's MAW wildcard tournament. And, oh my god. Okay, so an old line will be their opponents. I can't believe that actually happened. I guess these guys get matched up a lot. I've never really noticed it, but old line always says they get matched up against the Dragons. Pause here for a second, Tim, so we can go over these matchups. But I can't believe that actually happened. So our first round, our first 2 games, first 4 teams, New School Risers versus Vortex, Dragon versus Old Line. Those winners will play, the winner of the first game will play the winner of the second game, and the losers, same thing. All right, go ahead, Tim. And the Ridley Park Long Balls are team number 5. New look roster for them this year. And they will be playing in their first game the Long Island Dumps. Misspelled there on the wheel. It's DUMPZ. New team for MAW. Played in Long Island Fall League and GSWL New York Yard this past year. The Red Barons out of BWBL in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, are team number 7. And their first round opponent will be TC35 out of Austin, Texas. Finished top 8, veteran team, finished top 8 last year at United Wiffle Ball. So we'll pause here for a second. Take a look at this first group. So top half of the bracket, we've got New School Risers versus East Bangor and Vortex. New York Dragons versus Old Line Wiffle in the bottom half of that bracket, or the second games in that top half of the bracket. The bottom half of Group A is Long Balls versus Long Island Dumps, and Red Barons TC35. So now we'll flip over to Group B. Whenever you're ready, Tim. The Lemonheads are team number 1 in Group B. And they will be playing the Stompers in their first game. The Las Vegas Whifflers, obviously out of Las Vegas, Nevada, are team number 3 in Group B. Appreciate those guys coming out. Long way, obviously. And they'll be playing the RV Revs out of New Jersey, a good young up-and-coming team. Played in our Staten Island tournament last year. Played in the MLW Invitational UWIF weekend. Had a really good game against the MLW Rising Stars. They just lost 1-0. So a young team, tough test in their first matchup of the tournament, but they'll definitely learn a lot. So there's how the top half of that bracket looks. Lemonhead Stompers, a classic MAW matchup. Oh, sorry, Tim was going quickly. So the Horsemen are team number 5. we'll come back and discuss the top half of the Group B in a second. And they will be facing the Dark Knights. New York Dark Knights also making their MAW debut. Long time Golden Stick Yard New York team. Excited to have those guys out. That should be a fun first game matchup with the revamped Horsemen. The CCW Skullcrushers are team number 7 in Group B. Skullcrushers, of course, had a great 2022, winning the NWA tournament, finishing top 8 at United Wiffle. They will be facing the hometown York Yaks in their first game. All right, so now we'll pause for a second and just take a look at this group, how it shaped out. So again, like I'm saying, first game in the group, Lemonheads Stompers. That's a rematch of the 2018 MAW Championship Series, two long-time Northeast franchises. Then Las Vegas veterans, Las Vegas Whifflers, but they also got some good young players in their team too versus the upcoming RV Ravs. The Maryland Horsemen versus the New York Dark Knights in the first game of the bottom half of the bracket. And I think this is probably the game that stands out to me most so far, the Skullcrushers Yaks. That should be a really, really good first round game. They're at the bottom of Group B. Just want to pause before we get to the last group here and just mention that the usual MAW captain's email will be coming out tomorrow evening. So captains, look for that, and please distribute it to your players. That'll have all the information you need about tournament day, reiterating everything we talked about earlier. Some additional information, just for parking, where the fields are, directions, and all that. So be on the lookout for that. All right, now we'll go back to the wheel and wrap this up with Group C. 8 teams remaining. The OG Goon Squad is team number 1 in Group C. And they will face the defending 2-time Mid-Atlantic World Champions and National Champion. Two-time defending Mid-Atlantic Champions and defending World Champions, the Juggernauts. The revamped Dinos are team number 3 in Group C from all over the East Coast. And they will be playing the returning New York Meats, also a top 8 team from last year's United Wiffle, top runner-up the year before. So final 4 teams here in the tournament. Potential for some really big matchups here. We got Canes, it's team number 5, Earl and With Inc. and Cajuns still on the board. This is going to be a tough bottom half of Group C. The Canes will face the Cajuns in their first game, which means we'll get another matchup that if you were scripting this, you'd probably put in the first round. Earl with Inc. So With Inc. It's team number 7. And Earl as team number 8. Spin the wheel just to make it official. Alright, so pop back over here, take a look at Group C. Got Goon Squad Juggernauts, Dinos Meats. Then a really tough bottom half of this Group C. Canes, Cajuns, and With Inc. Earl. That's going to be a bit of a slaughter. One of those teams is going to start. One of those 4 teams is going to start 0-2. Just by the nature of things, but that should be a really, really, really fun group to watch a week from yesterday. So there's the matchups. We'll get all this up and out to everyone. In the captain's email tomorrow, we'll have which groups are playing at Shy Wiffle Ball Park and which group is playing at Shy Wiffle Ball Park and which groups are playing at Dallastown Community Center and all that, along with, I don't know if start times will be in the captain's email necessarily, but if they're not, we'll email those out and get those out later in the week. In the meantime, if you have any questions, as always, you can contact Tim. If you have his number, email us at Mid-Atlantic or contact us at any of our social medias. If you have any questions, just please feel free to ask, and we'll do our best to answer it. And weather-wise, it's looking a little iffy, for Saturday. It's kind of like the usual thing where it's, beautiful all week, and then the weekend kind of isn't as great, but it doesn't look bad. It just looks like there may be some rain to play through, high 60 temperatures, so we'll follow that as the week goes along. It doesn't look too bad, just doesn't look picture perfect, so come prepared for a little bit of rain, and not completely warm temperatures. But otherwise, it looks nice. High 60s is about as good as you could ask for this time of the year. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all. Just again, let us know if you have any questions or issues if you're playing the tournament. If you're not playing the tournament, please follow along all next Saturday on our YouTube channel. We'll have game streaming all day. We'll also have intermittent highlights and updates on both Instagram and Twitter. So look forward to seeing everyone Saturday and kicking off what should be a great